What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Notepad Games. We're going to be doing a solve session for some streams puzzles today. Just going through the history of the 2025 puzzles. Getting started with a nice and quick puzzle right there. Small, I think, 4x4 grid. Moving along. Just have to connect all of the stars, filling up the entire grid. Paths can't branch or double back on themselves. You'll see that gets a little more complicated as some of these grids get larger, but we're just flying through some of these small ones right here. This looks like it's going to be a little bit of a larger grid. This cell seems tricky to access. I think it's going to have to be this red coming down and around. This blue actually looks like it has to go down there. I was initially thinking it was going to be the one to go up. That looks like it's going to be the yellow. There we go, finishing off with the purple. Not too bad for a larger puzzle. We still have an even larger size to come. Let's put the blue up there, the red down here. I think the yellow might snake all the way around. This blue will come through here, leaving this one cell for the purple to take. Nice and speedy. Moving on to puzzle number 32 of the 2025 pack. That purple looks like it's going to have to go there. I can't just come all the way around here because this is gonna be an issue down here. So I wonder where we go. And also, this corner is going to be a little tricky. My gut is telling me that it's going to be the yellow like that. So then maybe the yellow will come up and around here. That leaves a nice alleyway for this red to escape. This light blue can go up there. The red can come here. And I think the purple can snake its way through, finishing that puzzle. That was a nice one. Took a little more thought or preparation. Large puzzle here. I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit bigger. See what we have. This corner is going to have to be this or this, I think. I'm just going to mark it like that for now. If this cell, if the cyan doesn't go up, it's going to have to come out, which would then make this a very tricky cell because the purple wouldn't be able to do that. That would be illegal. So I think the cyan's going up at the very least, which makes me wonder if it's going all the way and it's going to be the one and that'll come there. The red has to get out. Once it gets out, it has a few options. If the blue doesn't go this way, these cells are not reachable via any valid path. So I think the dark blue is going to come here. The yellow, it looks like, has to be the one to take that, which means I think the red's going to come down, but that doesn't mean it doesn't do something crazy like that. The more you play these, the more your gut kind of feels that pathway, and it just kind of starts being more visible. Nice small puzzle here again, back to the smaller varieties. The puzzles throughout each week, they release daily, and the sizes grow throughout the week. So as we're playing the historic puzzles, we're kind of going on a cyclical pattern from the smaller back to the larger puzzles. So some of these are very simple. I might have messed up that. I think that has to come this way and around. The yellow likely comes down here and goes all the way around. The red will go here. The blue will wrap around, leaving that cell for the purple. It was very similar to a puzzle we did earlier. Going on to number 38, the green connects down there. The blue likely comes up. The orange will go in there. The light blue comes all the way around. Nice little alleyway for the yellow and the purple. Whoops, I accidentally overrode one of my spots. Puzzle number 39, very empty grid. These can be very tricky because, again, you can't just connect the cells, although that's not even going to be a valid solution, but you have to fill up the whole grid. So something like this while everything's connected, is not a solution. So if we think about this corner, it's very easily going to be this blue. And then this cell, I mean, it could be something like that, but that leaves a lot of questions. The purple can go right and up. So if the purple did something like that and the yellow came out, it feels like two colors likely wrap around this red though. Although that's not possible. There's only one square to get past it. So if we do something like that, it's going to then be the red that's taking this, but then what is taking these two? That doesn't seem very possible. So if we come back and we think about how we're wrapping around there, you know, this blue could come up and over, and the yellow could come up and out. But again, it still leaves a lot of open space. So let's see if there are any moves that are absolutes. Something has to come around here that isn't the red. So something has to take these three. And if it takes these three, it has to take that one. So it can come in from the left. If it's got to come out. And so the only cell that can take this, or the only color that can take this, I think is the red. So I think that is a guarantee. I think. So then down here, something could go like that. That is possible. It could be the purple. And it could be even something coming in from here. If something comes in from here, that would leave this yellow out to go here. So that seems plausible. So I don't see a reason why that wouldn't work. Because even, you know, this could be something like this blue coming around. That leaves some questions for that red there. Let's just keep looking. So up here, this would have to escape. So the red would have to come out, meaning this would have to go, and the red would have to go one more to be a legal move. So this would have to go one more. At this point, the red could go down, but if the red went down, this cell is invalid. So I think the red has to go more, meaning, again, this has to step. And again, the red could go down, but this would then be an illegal area. So the red has to keep going. Whatever this color has to keep going. Now, no, it still has to go. So this would then turn down. And now finally the red can turn down. But again, if the red comes here, this is impossible. So it's got to keep moving. So that's blocked this off. So I think this has confirmed that this color is the blue path and not the yellow like I had initially drawn it. So we have to keep going. So I'm seeing this right now. This is looking very questionable. Something like that. The yellow would come out. The purple would come out, but see, that would block that off. So the yellow would have to come up and over, and the blue would connect. And there we go. Very good puzzle. We were able to logic it through. That one wasn't just on the gut feels. Let's go on and try puzzle number 40. See, so only one color can wrap back here. If it's the orange, that breaks all of this. If it's the purple, that breaks that. And if it's the yellow, I think the yellow actually is possible. No, that cell would be impossible. So none of these three colors are the one that wrap around. Leads me to feel like it might be the red here. But that's just, again, pure puzzle instinct. No actual confirmed logic there. So if the red just keeps like wrapping around, it could do something crazy. And that looks like it's going to be the solution. Fun puzzle. That was, I think, puzzle number 30 from the 2025 pack. Puzzle number 40. And that, I think, will be where we end this video. If you want to play, you can play along at notepadgames.com or on the App Store. If you have any comments, tips, suggestions, how'd you do, let me know.